everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I know I wasn't able to post this week on Monday. I had a really rough weekend, ended up in the ER, just was not feeling good the entire weekend. I was just like, this video on Monday is just not gonna happen, and that's okay. And I'm here now, posting on Thursday, so I might switch back to once a week just for health reasons, but we'll see how it goes. So I posted a poll on my Instagram last week asking whether or not people want to see a video about chronic pain or if they want to see one about college, and that came back 50-50, so I was like, I get to choose this week. So the video that I chose to do this week is about college, about how I ended up where I am, and what it's like to be at college with a chronic illness. So, if you don't know, I go to The Ohio State University. I am a sophomore here studying speech and hearing sciences with a disability studies minor. And a lot of people always ask me first, like, especially people from Ohio, they always turn to me and they're like, you're from New York, like, why would you come to the Midwest for college? And I always give them the same answer of, my sister went here for her 4 years and absolutely loved it. I'd come out, I'd visit, and I'd love it too. Like, I would visit other schools and I would just benchmark everything back to Ohio State. Like, I visited University of Pittsburgh, University of Georgia, and every single time that I went, I was just like, oh, but like, Ohio State has this, and like, I like this better, or oh, I like the way that Ohio State does this more. So it was kind of clear for me from the start where I wanted to go. I applied to 7 schools in total and only got rejected from 1. So I got into 6 schools, all relatively similar, like big state schools, 3,000 people plus, and that's what I wanted. Like, I wanted a big school, and I just kept saying, like, oh, but OSU has this, OSU has this, and I committed to OSU, like, literally, like, I think the day after I got in, or like a few days after I got in, because I was just like, no, nothing's gonna beat this for me, like, there's no way. Like, I visited, my top schools were University of Georgia and Ohio State, and if I didn't go to Ohio State, I probably would have ended up at Georgia, but I just kept saying, like, I literally cried when I got into OSU. Like, I just kept saying, like, OSU is the school for me. Like, this has to be it. I'm a Buckeye. And got in and committed. And I've never looked back since. Like, it's been the best decision I think I've ever made. It's such a big decision, deciding where you want to go to college. And I talked to some people about it, and I'm always just like, always just apply to OSU. Like, I think it's for everyone. Clearly that's not the case. It's not for everyone, but I always encourage people, like, apply here, like, or just apply to a big school, because you never know what you're going to get out of it. Because you might end up visiting and you might end up loving it. Like, people always said they could have seen me at a smaller school. They were kind of worried about me going to a bigger school, but I can't imagine going to a smaller school now. Like, I absolutely love it. So that's kind of how I picked the school, and I obviously have a pretty unique major. I mean, like, people always know speech pathologists, but, like, not a lot of people major in it. So I have a stutter, so when I was younger, I would go to speech therapy, and I absolutely love speech. Like, I looked forward to going every single week, and I just had such an interest in it, because I'm like, well, like, I want to help people who are like me. And it's kind of funny, because I either want to end up doing early childhood intervention, which is when you work with children who are just a little bit more delayed on their speech, to just kind of fix that while they're still developing their speech, so help them through that. So that's, like, toddlers, like, very young children, and I absolutely love working with really young children. I work at a camp, and I absolutely love it. I always know I want to do pediatrics. And then the second thing is actually kind of funny, because I want to work with children who are on feeding tubes and working on getting them off of them. So, I mean, clearly I can relate. So, yeah, that's kind of how I picked everything. And then disability studies, I was told I kind of had to minor in something, which I was actually super excited about because I was like, okay, like, this is something fun that I can choose. And I picked disability studies because disability obviously interests me a lot, and I want to work with children who have disabilities, and I want to work with them and help them as much as I can, provide as much support as I can. And I just wanted to learn more about the field. I thought it was just so interesting, especially if that's what I want to see my future as. So I picked disability studies, and I started this semester, and I absolutely love it. Like, my instructors and professors are fantastic, and I find the courses so interesting. Like, especially right now, like, we're learning about stroke, and I was just like, I never really had an interest in that, and I'm like, maybe I want to work with, like, aphasia. So it's just, like, all of my courses at OSU have just been so enlightening to me at figuring out what I wanted to do, because I came in thinking that I wanted to do fluency, and now I'm like, I want to do, like, 10 million other things right now. Like, this is so cool. I didn't realize how involved speech was. I know I don't want to do audiology. Like, I can't say that. But definitely want to do speech. I think about, like, 90% of the major is going towards speech and not hearing. I'm like, I could be wrong, but, like, the majority of people that I meet are like, I want to end up doing speech and not hearing. So that's kind of, like, the basics of, you know, where I am and what I do here. But yeah, I was not diagnosed with a chronic illness until going into my sophomore year of college. I was diagnosed when I was 18 years old, and I was completely fine for a semester. I mean, like, I was bloated, I was uncomfortable, but, like, I didn't really let that affect me. And then I got malnourished. My first semester of sophomore year, I had my first malnourishment experience, and that's where I started to fall behind. Once I got my first hospital admission, I started to fall behind. I mean, like, I was retaking a course already, but I did not do well in my freshman year, and I was like, okay, everything's gonna be fine, and then all of a sudden I end up in the hospital for 2 weeks, and just having constant brain fog, pain, like vomiting. It was so uncomfortable. I could not do my schoolwork, and I would just remember just sitting there emailing my professors and just being like, I need time. I'm gonna need time. And the hard thing with first semester was definitely harder than this semester. One of the really hard things that I had was that I have disability services, like, backing me up, and that's the one thing I can always say. If you have any chronic illness or any disability or anything that you feel like, any diagnosis that you feel like could hold you back, have a medical professional write a note, register with disability services. It will be a life changer. Take whatever accommodations you need. I took accommodations that I didn't think that I needed, and now I'm using them. So that's my best advice, is just, if it's open to you, you take that. But yeah, I was doing stuff in the hospital, emailing disability studies, emailing my professors, being like, I need more time. And the hard thing that I had with my professors for my first semester was that they didn't understand that my body doesn't work the way that they wanted it to work for this class. So their thinking, I believe, was, you're feeling, you need a couple of days to work on this assignment, you're going to automatically feel 10 times better during those extra days, which is not the case. Sometimes I do request extra time, and I'm like, I only need a couple of days, and then all of a sudden, like, something comes up. I might just have a really bad flare-up and just be like, I need a couple more days. And then some professors were like, well, we're not going to do that because we already gave you those few days. And I'm like, my body's kind of unpredictable, though. And I think it's okay to acknowledge the fact that your body is unpredictable, and just standing up for yourself and just being like, no, like, you're not in my body. You do not understand that I'm having brain fog, or I feel really sick, and, like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get this assignment done because my health comes first. And I think that's been the hard thing, is just being like, I have to prioritize my health. My health comes before school sometimes, and it's hard. It was hard in the beginning for me to acknowledge that. But now, after my second hospital admission, I've acknowledged that completely. I said, my health always comes first before anything else. And that's where I kind of luck out being in the major and the minor that I am, because a lot of professors do understand that our bodies are unpredictable if you have a chronic illness. So after my third hospital admission this semester, I have just told my professors, like, it'll come when it comes. Like, I will get everything in. I will try my best to get it in a timely manner. It'll come when it comes. And that was kind of hard for me to acknowledge, but I have some days where I'm feeling great. Like today I'm feeling really good. I want to get all my work done. Like, I want to get as much done as I possibly can. And then I have some days where I'm literally falling asleep and I'm like, I can't do my work today. And that's okay. I have an assignment due tonight. It's not going to get in. It's really not. So, and I'm keeping straight A's right now because I'm not going to do an assignment if I'm not feeling well, because then I know I'm not going to do well on it. So it's just being open and honest with if you have a chronic illness right now and you're in college or you're deciding that you're going to go to college, keep in mind, just be as open and honest with your professors as possibly can. You don't need to tell them what you're dealing with. You don't need to tell them your symptoms. You don't need to tell them any specifics. You can honestly just say, I have a chronic illness. It's flaring up right now. I do not know when I'm going to be able to turn this assignment, but it will get in. Or you can do a wonderful thing, and that's taking a semester off. That's something I've been considering for next semester. It's just letting my body heal, coming here, living in my apartment, and just taking the semester off. So that's definitely an option, because a lot of people who are going to college or have not decided that they're going to go to college yet, or are still in high school, that's a big fear, is what if I go to college and something bad happens? I'm away from home, away from my family, I'm away from my doctors. That's one of the fears that I had. And last semester I did have to come home early just so I could be close to my doctor. But the smartest thing, I think, was establishing a team of doctors in Ohio and a team of doctors in New York, so they can communicate with each other and I can get that care that I need, because obviously it's hard for my doctor in New York to treat me when I'm 9 hours away. So that's just been really, really, really helpful in my care. So I touched on being open and honest with disability and your professors, registering for disability, getting your doctors where they need to be, and I guess the final thing that I can talk about is living in the dorms, because that's what I do right now. I'm in a dorm, and honestly I think the best suggestion I can ever give is, if your school has suites, do a suite. Because if you can get a single, because a lot of people do need more room for their medical equipment, if you can get a single for all your medical equipment, definitely do that. But if you're in a suite, and God forbid there's a medical emergency, you have people near you. People in the room next to you can just pop on by and help you out. Either that, or if you can't do that, definitely I would say get a single. Or if you want to, you can get a double. I wouldn't go more than that. That's something you can definitely talk to disability about. But definitely have that, and then make friends with people in the rooms next to you, and let your RA know what's going on. Because as long as they know and there's any medical emergencies, they know what's up. And I tell all my friends and my roommates where all my medical information is. Like, I have it on my phone, I have it in my wallet, I have a medical ID bracelet, and I tell them all of this because I'm like, God forbid anything happens and you do need to call 911 and I'm not conscious, this is where all my medical information is, and then this is where you're going to be able to get all that information. And like, these are the situations when to take me to the hospital, when to call 911, when it's fine, when I just call my doctor. But that's definitely the best advice that I can give about living in the dorms. It's just about communication with those around you, so that everyone knows what to do. Because if you're passing out, that's a scary situation for other people. And for you, it could be normal. For you, that can just be part of your chronic illness, especially if you have something like POTS or anything that causes you to pass out like that. And sometimes it's not the case that you have to go to the hospital, so it's just going to be a bigger thing, and you're going to probably end up being admitted. It's because I know, like, that's what's happened to me before, and like, that is a scary thing. So definitely open, honest communication. But if you are currently in high school or middle school, like whatever, and you're watching this, just know you can go to college. That is an option, whether that be online, at home, 10 minutes away from home, living at home with your parents, or going across the country for college. You can do it. You can do it. That is an option for you. Do not let yourself be limited. You have a future. You can have a future. That is very possible. You might have to do a little bit differently from everyone else, but you have a future. And don't let that chronic illness stop you, because, I mean, I'm sitting here having a really hard time trying to adjust to everything, but I'm still here, I'm still doing it, I still have a social life, I'm still going to class, I'm still doing my work, seeing people, and doing chores, and I might need a little bit extra help with it, but that's okay. It's gonna take time to adjust, and it's okay to give yourself that leeway. If you make a mistake, it'll happen. Like, stuff happens. It's college, especially with a chronic illness. But just know you can do it. It is possible. There are people who do it. You can do it. So I hope that, if you had any concerns about that I was able to help. Always feel free to reach out to me on my Instagram, though. Make sure to give that a follow, at Chronically Sydney. And yeah, definitely make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Instagram, check out my TikTok at Sydney Ads. And I hope everyone has a good day. Stay positive and keep smiling.